Hi there folks, this is kind of a first time video for me because I'm normally making videos about making coffee, but you may or may not know I've been kind of getting back into a bit of film photography in the last couple of years. So anyway, I got back into medium format. I went through a few cameras, but the one that I kind of settled on is this one here, which is the Mamiya 6 4B. And I really love this camera for all sorts of reasons, mainly that it's such a compact camera for a medium format. And so I found vaguely frustrating about this camera, and it's not really frustrating, it's just the nature of these cameras, is that it hasn't got a very good close focusing distance. So before this I had an RB67, and actually you can really push that and focus quite close, and if you've got the 127mm lens, you can get some really nice kind of close-up shots if you really want to. And of course, having digital cameras before, you can get insanely close to the digital camera. So things like sitting around a table and wanting to take a kind of group portrait or a family portrait or something like that, where you're quite close up together, that's really easy with most modern cameras. But with most Instax cameras and with a camera like this, really not that easy at all. So the minimum focusing distance on this one is about 90 centimeters. So you can still get reasonably close, but not super close. So that led me to thinking about what I could do about it. And somebody pointed me in the direction on Reddit, I think, of this little attachment called the Pleasant Auto Up for Mamiya 6. And these were basically kind of close-up lenses that were made very specifically for rangefinder cameras. This one comes from the 1950s, so a similar era to this camera here. Now, what I couldn't find online was any real information on those. So I'm pretty used to shooting with diopter close-up lenses. So they kind of come in powers, you know, diopter of 2x or a diopter of 4x or 8x or whatever. And so I've used those before. I've used them on Instax cameras. And with an Instax camera, what you end up doing is kind of putting it on the front, and it changes your focusing distance at infinity from whatever the normal one is, which is about a meter, to a 2x diopter 50 centimeters or a 4x at 25 centimeters, and you pretty much just have to guess whether it's going to be on focus or not and hope for the best. Now, one of the really nice things about this one of the really nice things about this auto up attachment you get, and I'll show you it now, is that it gives you the kind of the diopter lens. So it's really very basic. It's just a kind of magnifying lens like this. So it gives you this, and that just gives you a magnifier. But one of the really nice things about it is it comes with this, which is the kind of magnifier for your rangefinder as well. So you can actually work out if it's going to be in focus or not, hopefully. So one of the things I really struggled to find was any examples of people having used these on Mamiya 6s. And so this is hopefully just a video to show you what I found out in using it. So this is just really the first test with this. I already had a roll of film in the Mamiya 6, and you'll have to bear with me because it's some Tri-X 400 that I was pushing to 1600 just as an experiment as well. So the photos are probably a bit more contrasty than maybe they would be normally. So we'll see how those are going to go. But right at the moment now, they're kind of drying in the film dryer over there. And I've done a few little experiments, so nothing super exciting here, but just focusing on that, 50 centimeter distance. How's it doing for focus? Is the sharpness okay? I've done a comparison shot so you can see what I managed to get in with the attachment on, and what I managed to get in without the attachment on, so you can kind of see the difference that it makes. And we're just going to scan them in basically and have a little look at whether they worked, whether they didn't work, and whether or not it'd be worth you investing in these. To give you some kind of idea of price, that's important. Most of these you can only really get from Japan if you're in the UK. This one I think came in at about £75, and that was delivered. So it took about a week to get here from Japan, so pretty good, pretty happy with the condition of it. So yeah, we'll go and have a little look at what's come out from that experiment. Right then, so I've now got my negatives processed. They're dried, they're cut, and I've put them through the scanner. So here they are back with me now, and hopefully you can see those on the screen as well. Now, as I said before, these are not the greatest works of art in the world, but I just wanted to put them through and give them a test. One of the things you will probably notice with all this, they're quite contrasty images, which is a mixture of me doing this in probably inadvisable lighting indoors, but also having pushed that film to 1600, and I'm still working that out. So this was developed in HC 110. And I don't know if I got that right yet. So we'll start with this one here. So this was, and you can see the actually horrible way this dried as well, and all the dust all over it. So I haven't taken that off for this. But to give you an idea, so I focused this one. This was focused on the enlarger in this case. And I think I have this about f6.3. So a reasonable sense of the depth of field you get with this. And actually reasonably, I know we're on the online version of Lightroom here, but actually it's reasonably sharp, that, given that this is near the edge of the frame as well. So not the most amazing test in the world, but not a bad start with that one. This one came out way darker than I was expecting, but then if you take photos in a dark room, what do you expect? So this is, again, a nice just close up from about 50 centimeters of one of the enlargers again, and it's zoomed even closer for us this time. But you can get, it's still loading this, so you can get a reasonable sense, I think, of the kind of level of sharpness you might get out of this on a medium format. And this is much closer to the center of the frame, so it kind of gives us a bit of a better sense of what we might get. And actually, although the photograph itself was awful, the sharpness we've got out of this, I'm pretty pleased with that. You know, for what is effectively just a little extra add-on lens, I'm pretty pleased with how that's come out. So that's that one. This was just to give you a sense of what you might fit in a frame. So this is what I got in the frame, as close as I could get to the bookshelf here, just without the lens on it. And then if we go on a little bit, that's the framing now from 50 centimeters. So again, you can kind of see just what you're going to get in frame, what's going to be out of the frame. But again, please ignore the dust and all the junk on here. I had to do the scans quite quickly. But again, you'll see I kind of focused on this guided reader book here, and that's pretty sharp. You know, it's not going to win awards, but it's pretty decent. We've got a fairly shallow depth of field on this. This was taken about f5.6. So you can see some of these books that push back a bit further. The depth of field is pretty razor thin from that sort of distance. But actually, again, edge to edge sharpness, I don't think is that bad. And again, you know, we're talking about a lens that and a camera that's from 1955. So, you know, my aim here is not clinical sharpness. My aim is, can I get a decent image? Can I get a bit closer? Does it absolutely ruin the shot? Does it create problems with exposure? And actually, no. I mean, let's take those first two shots aside, because obviously I shot those in quite a weird situation. These, I've metered these using a phone meter in one case. This one was metered using my proper light meter. And actually, it's done a reasonably good job. It doesn't seem to have cut the light out too much. We're not getting, as far as I can see, any major fall off in the corners. So we'll see how it's done with that. And again, yeah, pretty happy with that. This was about closest focusing distance again, so about 50 centimeters. And it'll give you an idea of how well that lens has worked as the close-up lens for that. And then the last one, again, this is another bookshelf shot, just because that seemed like an easy way to get something I definitely know I'd got in focus, and give a sense of what kind of sharpness we could get from it. And once again, shot this one. I think this one was probably a bit of a shallower depth of field, so it's f4 or somewhere around there, maybe 4.5. And you can see again, it's done a reasonably good job. So there we go. We'll go even closer into that one. But for me, that's pretty much it. So the Mamiya, the Pleasant Auto Up attachment lens for Mamiya 6 goes on the camera really easily. Seems to do a good job for what it purports to do. What I really like about it is it's not a huge thing to lug around with you. So yeah, okay, I could take a different camera with me. I've got a 35mm camera I could take with me if I wanted to do closer shots. But actually taking two cameras, that's not really what I want to be doing all the time. Yeah, sometimes I'm going to take the other one. But actually just for this, and you know, it comes in its nice little case here. So that is super easy. I've got two sort of zip pockets on my coat. One which gets the light meter, and the other one now can house this, and then pretty much prepared for some close-up shooting. So yeah, if you're thinking of getting one of these, obviously do have a look at the quality of the lens and is it scratched, is it damaged or anything. But other than that, I would say that's a fairly safe bet. It's a nice little item. It does what it says on the tin. Thanks ever so much for watching. Cheers.